Yes. Hi, Keith. Nice to meet you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Yes. Basically came straight from the hospital to come here.
So baby and mom still at the hospital?
They got, nope. We all came home together at about 1 o'clock. Yeah.
We will keep things moving for you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
If you have any problems, Matt plans.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Absolutely.
Good evening and welcome to the July 19, 2023 regular meeting of the Holland City Council. I'm Mayor Nathan Box and I'm calling this meeting to order. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Byrd.
Present.
Freeman.
Here.
Peters. Here. Corbin. Here. Coronado.
Here.
Arnsworth.
Here.
Hoekstra.
Here.
Raymond. Mayor Box.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy. We're going to begin this evening as we have for many years, first with an opening prayer this evening by Councilmember Hoekstra, followed immediately by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us.
I invite you to join in this prayer. God of all creation, we approach you tonight asking for your presence with us as we do the business of the people. We seek insight and discernment to make decisions that will benefit our community. We desire servant hearts and minds to know and do what is good and just. We pray with thankfulness for those who serve our citizens and risk their welfare for ours. God, we pray to you not to coerce you to do what we want, but to converse with you and know your mind and will, for us to practice love, mercy, and justice. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Dave. Next item on our agenda are our consent agenda items. These are items that are considered to be fairly routine, and they've been reviewed prior to the meeting by council members as part of our packet. They will be enacted in one motion unless a member of the general public or a member of council asks to have an item removed from the consent agenda and placed in its regular order on the regular agenda. But before I ask that, Kathy, would you please review the consent agenda for us?
4A, absence excused. 4B, approval of minutes, July 5, 2023 regular meeting. 4C, oaths of office. 4D, Board of Public Works, resolution authorizing transfer of funds for contribution to the city, fiscal year 2024. 4E, Board of Public Works, replacement of the electric distribution SCADA and OMS systems for electric distribution. 4F, City Attorney, request for appointment of special legal counsel. 4G, City Clerk, Compensation Commission recommendation. 4H, Transportation Services, Van Rolte Avenue Reconstruction Project, award bid. 4I, Transportation Services, 2023 Brick Paver Repair Project, award bid. 4J, Finance Services Purchasing, Fire Division, purchase of cardiac monitor defibrillator. 4K, Public Safety Services, Police Division, radio system, service maintenance agreement renewal, Great Lakes upfitting. 4L, Public Safety Services, Police Division, declare surplus to dispose of rifles and approve remaining expenditure. 4M, Management Administrative Services, Downtown Group, Windmill Island Gardens, approval of Art on the Island Gala Special Liquor License, September 7, 2023. 4N, Management Administrative Services, Human Resources, National Insurance Services Joinder Agreement for Voluntary Group Term Life Insurance, Firefighter Union Employee Group.
Great. Thank you, Kathy. Is there any member of the general public that would like to have an item removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda? Seeing none. Any member of council that would like to have an item removed from consent? None there as well. What is the pleasure of council in regard to the consent agenda?
Move to approve the presented consent agenda.
Moved by Vreeman. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Coronado. Any discussion? Seeing none. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Byrd.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes?
Peters. Yes. Corbin. Yes. Coronado.
Yes.
Arnsworth.
Yes.
Hoekstra.
Yes.
Mayor Bach.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Next item on our agenda is public comment. Under the Open Meetings Act of the State of Michigan, all of our meetings are not only public meetings, but we give the public the opportunity to address council and each one of our boards, committees, and commissions. We do have a few guidelines. First, each speaker may only speak one time, and you're limited to 5 minutes. There are 3 lights on the dais in front of me. There's a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. The green light means you're doing well on time. The yellow light means you have 1 minute left, and the red light means your time has expired, and we are strict about that. You may speak on any subject that you like to. We just want to make sure that you understand that this is not a time where we engage in discussion or answer questions, but it's an opportunity for you to speak to us about what you think is important. When you approach the microphone, please state your name and the municipality in which you live so that we're aware of that as well. Having said all of that, is there anyone here who would like to address council at this time? If so, please come forward. And would you please state your name and municipality for the record?
Ann Henriksen, Zealand. I lived in upstate New York in 1998. My girls were 8 and 11. Rochester has their famous Lilac Festival. We enjoyed attending the gardens, parks, and downtown area. At the time, the National Organization of Women, NOW, was an active feminist group expressing their presence in the city. As we attended the city festival, we noticed a young woman walking towards us in the crowd without her shirt, displaying her bare breasts. The idea was, if men can go shirtless, women should have the same right. My husband whispered to me, an exhibitionist for her cause. We left immediately. He spoke to the girls about what indecent exposure means. Half or fully nuded is unlawful in a civil society. Since Centennial Park is a taxpayer-supported community park for all ages, it is there for the enjoyment of all people. The night before the June Pride celebration, the park was peaceful. On the grass along the sidewalks, 100 tent outline plots were spray painted in white. I wondered if the Holland Park personnel did that for Pride vendors. Across the street from the park, a small line of people formed at the Park Theater for the performance of burlesque, drag, divination, and that is calling up the dead. The marquee did not specify adults only. The Out on the Lakeshore organization, abundantly funded, oversees Pride Month activities according to the booklet guide. The Holland Human Relations Commission is part of the funding, being a Tier 3 sponsor using taxpayer dollars. Saturday, there was a flurry of Pride activities celebrating lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, and plus. There were 100 tents set up, food trucks lined Central Avenue, 11th Street, including the police department ice cream truck. The hired LGBT plus security team was present. I asked if they were from the state or the county. They told me they were there to protect the LGBT visitors from threats. The large majority of people attending the festival were visitors. The Pride festivals are widely advertised through billboards and social media. The Holland Police Department was there to protect all people present. I attend the Pride festivals. I see LGBT people as people made in God's image, as the Bible says. I also believe we are all sinners. No one is more sinful than another. I did not go to see how different we are and judge. I went to be part of their celebration, to get to know more about them. As my friends and I sat near the children's activities and food center, a woman passed by the ducky pond not wearing a shirt. She was proudly bearing the scars where her breasts had once been. She wore a skirt and a beard. Then along came 2 men wearing matching shirts, mocking the scriptures. This is the gay the Lord has made. They were pulling a wagon full of small children. I was not offended, but just describing the character of the festival. ACLU tent was taking signatures for a ballot voting, making available to schools and public restrooms the morning after pill for self-abortion for all ages. Next to that tent was the Black Lives Matter table displaying children in middle school books of literature of Black LGBT plus youth stories of sexual content. Genderqueer was among them. Another tent was charging for crystal readings of fortunes. I just want to ask you, Council, how many of you were at this festival? Is this something you believe is the vast majority of your constituents would attend? Should their taxes be used for such an event? Let me suggest that this should be a private sponsored event, and let the residents and visitors enjoy Centennial Park during June. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this time? Seeing none, I will close the public comment period. Next item on our agenda is actually a special event and special occasion this evening. It is a special presentation and recognition not from the mayor or council or the city manager this year, but we have State Representative Nancy DeBoer here. Nancy, why don't you come on up? And you've got some special recognitions for us this evening. Welcome back.
Thank you. This is my first time back after a long time. This is very hard to get here on a Wednesday night because Lansing is always functioning on a Wednesday night, but they happen to cancel today. So I was able to come, and I've been waiting to recognize amazing people in this community. First, I just wanted to give you a little budget update from the state perspective. We just passed an $82 billion budget, which is a bit bigger than working with the city budget. I did notice statutory revenue sharing is up 7%. Not exactly, it had been talked about going double digit, but landed at 7%. And 2% of that is designated for public safety. How apropos. And 1% is dependent on getting all of your ARP, ARP funding designated by the end of this year, which I'm sure you've already done and buttoned up. So that's not a problem for Holland. Other places it is. So, and also I wanted to let you know we have designated $64 million to protect against invasive carp, which really concerned about keeping 20% of the world's fresh water good, and that's a very important thing to watch out for, so I was really glad about that. And also we have $235 million for police, firefighters, and EMTs, $156 million for public safety equipment, technology, and facility improvements, and $30 million for recruitment, retention, and well-being of first responders. So those are good, definitely good causes, and overall, we'll be working hard to do the right thing. Not everybody always agrees, but you just do your best to get to know people and find things you can agree on and work together. So I appreciate all that you guys do every Wednesday and all the other meetings besides to serve this community. It's great to see all those familiar faces and appreciate deeply your service. So tonight I have a couple tributes for I'm going to start, we're first with Lieutenant Brad Brower, going in alphabetical order. Some English teacher things never leave. So Brad, could you come up, please? Would you mind holding it?
Sure.
So we want to recognize Brad, we should say Lieutenant Brower. How inappropriate. We're really glad to recognize Lieutenant Brad Brower. He has spent 17 years with the Holland Fire Department and has been other places, but we're really glad he landed here. He was promoted in November of 2012 to be a lieutenant in our department. He was nominated by his peers, and he was selected by the department's command officers. So they know quality when they see it. They mentioned that he is positive leadership that is consistent with the core values. He has high standards for himself and for others. He makes selfless decisions in light of the department and the team. And he's developing in-field cardiac monitoring. And that's going to help expedite diagnosis when our fire department brings people into the emergency care, and the physicians will have a head start on helping people with cardiac events, which is great. He's been heroic in fighting fires and in saving lives. And not only do you have to do that these days in the fire department, but you also have to study the new types of equipment and the toxic chemical situations that we have going on in today's world and today's businesses, and he's been doing a lot of that as well. So every day we wake up in a wonderful community. We feel really safe and cared for. And many of us have had hard things that have happened, and we have public safety people that always show up quickly, efficiently, effectively. And we often take that for granted. But so it is a real honor for me to be able to come here tonight to recognize those that I have admired and respected so much over all these years. So it's great to be able to congratulate you in person, Lieutenant Brad Brower. Thank you so much for being here and for your service to our community. Thanks, Brad. Thank you. Next, I would love if Officer Joel Ryman could come up, please. If you wouldn't mind holding. Thank you so much. So Officer Joel Rymick, again, was nominated by his peers and recognized, selected by the command staff of our Holland Public Safety Department to receive the 2023 Police Officer of the Year. Joel has spent 20 years in our Holland Department of Public Safety Police Division. He started as a cadet in 2003. I didn't know you then. Well, I did. From other associations. But he now has served as a trainer and a part of that illustrious honor guard that we see marching by in parades and at great events. He has been a part of the Canine Handler program. They asked him to be one of those in 2012. Besides being a trainer for police officers of our future, and honor guard, he also served as a canine partner, and his partner is Ruthie. She is in the car. Well, we thought maybe Ruthie would like to be alone for a little bit, and he'll pick her up afterwards. But Ruthie is very effective because back in October 2020, there was a missing little 4-year-old on a very cold and ugly night in Wright Township, Ottawa County. And they called on Joel and Ruthie. And it was a cornfield they had to go through in the middle of the night and the cold. Now that is really hard to do as a person. But a person with Ruthie can do more. And they found the little girl in the middle of the night, saved her from exposure. And there's just no way to put a dollar amount on that. And the guy that took Ruthie all through the cornfield in the middle of the night, we really appreciate also. So he's really appreciate all that he has endured and contributed to the department, his command staff has said. And he has, they also mentioned that he is a critical part of so many programs. He's a very dependable and valued officer. His level of professionalism and the high standards that he sets for himself inspire the rest of the team and the department. So we just hope that he and Lieutenant Brower enjoy the safety and security that they have given their lives to provide for us in the city of Holland and throughout this region. So I am very honored and blessed to be able to be here to recognize these two gentlemen and the great department that they represent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative DeBoer, for coming and highlighting that for us, and for Lieutenant Brower and for Officer Rymack. Congratulations. Thank you for your service. We have an absolutely stellar public safety department here in Holland, and you guys are wonderful examples of that. So thank you very much. We appreciate it, and congratulations. Next item on our agenda are public hearings. First is a PA 198 tax abatement for ATC Drivetrain, 1285 Waverly Road, Units 3 through 5. Mr. Van Beek.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council, members of the public. Kind of fun to report on 2 companies and 3 recommended actions for you this evening. Fun in that, for those of you that have been around for a while, our Public Act 198 tax abatements are a regular and common occurrence. We celebrate those when those happen. But all of these are examples of a more recent type of tax abatement that was an innovative process that the state put in and that we participated here in Holland. And you'll recall that that was a speculative industrial facility tax abatement, or IFT. And in that situation, we had one company that would invest and would build out a building and prepare units within that building for companies that could basically looking for opportunities and could come online faster through the speculative IFT process. And we're going to celebrate 2 of those companies and 2 of those innovative processes that were able to come to fruition tonight. First, and it will be 2 actions you'll see, it's the adoption of the building itself, and then the build out within the building is a company, ATC Drivetrain. There are 2 representatives from the company here, Chris Hunter and Al Victoria, and they'll get a chance to tell you more about their company here in a second. Overall, they are taking 3 of the 5 units in this building, so it's 48,000 of 80,000 square feet total. And for item number 1, it's a $2.9 million investment for the building itself. And then in item 2, so you don't have to listen to me explain this all again, and you will have to take action on these separately, so you desire, if you so desire, is $600,000 of the interior build out. And it's 39 total employees that this company is looking to employ. And you'll recall that our assessing department, Jim Bush, really did a great job of taking a look at the information that we provide to you all and dressing it up and taking a look at how to present that in a different way. And it does a much better job of visually describing to you what I always remind you verbally, is that I think one reason that we have a long history in the city of Holland of supporting these 198s is because companies have the ability to invest in different places. And we know that pretty much all municipalities in Michigan have this same 198 tool available to them. So there is an element that they could make this investment and hire these employees elsewhere. And I always say I'd rather have, or I would suggest to you all that I would rather have 50% of some investment or 50% of something instead of taking the risk that they actually do this investment somewhere and have 100% of nothing. So I won't say that again at the next time. But with that, I will hand it off and invite Chris and Al forward to talk maybe a little bit more about their company. And I know you always like to hear about the benefit packages for employees. So Al, welcome.
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you for welcoming ATC to Holland, Michigan. This is a great place. I was just telling a couple people at work that I've been traveling quite a bit. I travel a lot as the Global Vice President of Engineering and Quality for ATC. And my wife doesn't want to travel with me except here. So when I come here, she's like, I'm coming with you. So she enjoys the city very much. So thank you for inviting us to the City Council and also in welcoming us to the City of Holland. First of all, I just want to quickly kind of give you guys an idea of who ATC is. So we're a 84-year-old company, started during World War II. The company is really based on remanufacturing of drivetrain systems. So we build a lot of the engines and transmissions that are in vehicles today. We rebuild them or remanufacture them, and then we bring them back up to a high standard of quality, which then will be used for warranty or aftermarket, after warranty applications in your vehicle. So if you've been in a Ford, if you have a transmission issue, which I hope you don't, but they would come from us. But over the last 5 years, my responsibility is to grow the business, not in terms of just growth, that's for our sales guy, but grow our business in terms of changing our landscape to also change with the current structure of our customers, which is electrification. During that time frame, the last 5 years, I was responsible for the strategy roadmap for our electrification strategy, which we started actually in England. And today, we have also expanded in several other states. And today, we've, about 2 years, it's only been a year ago, we acquired GBS to plant in the great state of Michigan, which is where I'm from. We've also moved our world headquarters in Michigan as well, just so you know that we are really focused in the great state of Michigan. This investment the investment that we're putting in is really twofold. One is to really to obviously take advantage of the great workforce here, given that there's a lot of electrification companies already in the local area. I think it really helps. We felt that this is a place where we've already have a great workforce that we can work with, and that's already trained and already understands the technology that we're getting involved in. GBS attracted us for many reasons. It supplements our strategy and our growth, and our goal is to grow this business here. So the investment that the tax incentive that you're providing to us will help us with, as mentioned earlier, part of it will be helping with our building out the new facility, which we love very much, as well as add additional capital to grow our business. We've had several customers already come through our building and really like the changes we're making. So we really look forward to having that response that we're getting with the new facility, and like I think they also like coming here for to visit this side of the state. So we as mentioned earlier, the goal is at the moment is 39 jobs in 2 years, but I can tell you that as a corporation, a global company, we have done more. We've increased our sales much further than that, and I hope that 39 is not where we stop. I hope to grow it even further. That's my goal as not only the Vice President of Engineering and Quality for the global ATC, but also as the General Manager of GBS or ATC, which we're going to eventually call ourselves when we change everything over. Average salary here will be a lot higher than most of our respective operations, just because of the technical skill sets that's required to build out this business, and electrification requires a special skill set that requires a lot more higher rate than most. So I think our average, we're hoping that our average salary will be $50,000, but we'll be bringing in engineers and so forth to hopefully have higher wages than that. And of course, we also bring in our insurances and our 401ks to along with that investment. So whoever we hire will also get good benefits as well as their good wages. With that, I just want to thank you for the opportunity.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
I have a question.
Yeah,
Sure.
Mr. Byrd.
So looking at remanufacturing, and thanks, Tim.
Yep. I can hear you.
Big brother. So looking at the remanufacturing and looking at the website here, so
That-
as well?
that-
So is
that's
that the
what-
whole-
that-
so is
that's
that the
what-
whole ba-
that-
so is
that's
that the
what-
whole battery, or
that's
the
what-
whole battery, or is that
That's a-
components of the battery, or?
This is the BEV, this is what goes under the vehicle, that's
Yes, I'm
driving
sorry,
a full
the
electric vehicle.
electrical-
It's just a full electric vehicle battery.
Wow, so it's not just the.
No, it's not your 48 volt that's in your car.
All right, so I guess, I don't know what, I don't remember what the square footage is, because alls I think about is what we currently have, LG Chem, and the footprint that they have to be able to manufacture batteries. So is this similar to that, but on a smaller scale?
No, we are not. So LG basically produces either the cells or the modules that go into these battery packs that goes in the vehicle. So,
Okay.
so depending on the vehicle, there could be 27 of these LG packs with inside modules inside the pack. And what we're doing right now, so we have one customer, we're the central repairer for North America for them, an OEM that sells electric vehicles in North America. They send us the entire battery, basically what they call the chassis that's underneath the vehicle, and sends it to us, and then we diagnose that battery, and then we repair it, and then it goes back into the dealership network where it's being used to replace any warranty batteries that are in that vehicle. No different than our transmissions and our engines are being remanufactured, and that goes back through the dealership network, and then reinstalled back into a vehicle under warranty.
That's interesting. I always was under the thought process that after that battery was done, it was done.
Well, no.
Okay.
There's, actually, believe it or not, batteries today are getting better and better, right? And so, the batteries we do have are literally about 2 years old. They're still under warranty.
Okay.
Most vehicles are under, the warranty on an electric vehicle is about 8 to 10 years, which is extraordinary for vehicles. I think that's one reason is to gain some confidence in the market. But they have issues, that's like everybody else, and so we support, I should say we like the issues, but the automakers don't like it, but we like it. But we provide them when we repair these batteries. It is basically new or better, is the way we call it, because we upgrade it to the latest, greatest upgrades, put brand new battery packs in there. So what you get if you were in a situation where you had to have the battery replaced, you'll probably get a battery that's better than the one that you took out.
Great.
So, but anyway,
Thank you.
it's a very interesting.
It is, it's very interesting, so.
But yeah, this, GBS is one of a very few companies that has this, that are doing this, and we still EV market, obviously as the EV market continues to grow, we expect to grow with it. And our customers today are the big threes, Japanese and German automakers. And so as their electrification strategies take hold and as they try to fight Tesla for market share, we hope to be able to get a piece of that as well.
All right. Any other questions from council members? You're all set,
I'm good.
Mr. Bird? All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, thank
Ms.
you. very-
Coronado?
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just questioning, so you said you're not sure, GBS was the name, and you're not sure if it's gonna be GBS or ATC?
It'll be changed to ATC.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it'll be ATC drivetrain.
And the 39 positions, you said, engineers, would they be entry level as well?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of what we call direct labor, as well as engineers and such. So this is an average, I think, if we call it. But yeah, it'd be engineers and direct labor.
And just to start, I mean, you're saying 39 employees, but you're looking to grow.
If we can catch them, so that's Chris's job is to. Her job is to catch it. I'm supposed to cook it. So.
Well, welcome to Holland, and thank you. I appreciate the fact that it's sustainable, these batteries.
Yeah.
And learning about that, being a person of taking care of Holland and in our environment and the product that is sustainable.
Yes.
And that you can
Yeah.
rework it to be better
Yeah.
for the customer. I guess it's a win-win and the environment. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions from council members? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What is, well, let's take these in two separate, both 7A and then we'll do 7B. What is the pleasure of council in regard to item 7A, the PA 198 tax abatement for ATC drivetrain, 1285 Waverly Road, units 3 through 5?
Move to approve PA 198 tax abatement ATC drivetrain per A. Is that good?
All right. Yep. Moved by Coronado. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ernstors. Any discussion? Seeing none. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Freeman.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Corbin.
Yes.
Coronado.
Yes.
Arnshorst.
Yes.
Hoekstra.
Yes.
Bird.
Yes.
Mayor Box.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you. I'm not going to pass this to you, Mr. Van Beek, for item 7B unless you want me to. All right. What is the pleasure of council in regard to item 7B? Same property, same company, but it is for the build out of that property. The PA 198 tax abatement under item 7B. What's the pleasure of council?
Move to approve PA 198 Part B, interior build out of the property.
Moved by Coronado. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Vreeman. Any discussion? Seeing none. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Peters. Yes. Corbin.
Yes.
Coronado.
Yes.
Arnshorst.
Yes.
Hoekstra.
Yes.
Bird.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Mayor Box.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you. Item 7C, a PA 198 tax abatement for VP Tool and Supply LLC, 72 West 64th Street, Suite 250. Mr. Van Beek.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Before I do that, could I have the pleasure of the chair? I see Mr. Greg King from Lakeshore Advantage said, hey, I think he'd like to clarify something. So Greg is going to come up. Is that okay, Mr. Chair?
That is
Mr.
all
Mayor.
right. But we always like to hear from Mr. King.
I like to hear that. So I just wanted to make 2 points really quickly. Lakeshore Advantage, very excited about the ATC drivetrain project. One thing I wanted to let council know is that Global Battery Solutions was actually a surge company as part of Lakeshore Advantage's business incubator program for many years. I know graduated that program and went on to be very successful to the point that ATC drivetrain has now come to the area. So just wanted to kind of throw out maybe a little bit of a plug for the surge program there, but just so you know that that's a homegrown business. And so when you guys are out and about hearing about surge and the Next Center and programs like that, Global Battery Solutions, ATC drivetrain is a living example of the success of that program. And I think the second point I wanted to make is, as we're talking about investments by the likes of LG Energy and Natron Energy, that those types of investments, when those projects happen, bring companies like ATC Drivetrain to the community to grow here in Holland because of the basis for electrification and EV, the growing EV industry here in Michigan. I mean, we were just talking today with some of the city staff that we have one of the highest concentrations of battery-related companies in the United States here in Holland, Michigan. So, and it's the growth of companies like LG and the startups like Global Battery Solutions that is a reality. So I just wanted to speak to that very quickly. We are very excited and appreciate your approval of the tax abatements for them. So that was my piece.
Thank you for sharing. There's a reason why we like inviting you up to the microphone, and
Thank
you
you.
did not
Yeah.
disappoint this evening. Thank you, Mr. King. Appreciate that. Now are we on to item 7C, Mr. Van Beek?
We are,
All
Mr.
right.
Mayor, and thank you for that. And thanks, Greg, and sorry for not getting you to the mic earlier. But that's cool in both counts, but especially it's another example. Remember, we had the Knit It example, another company that graduated Surge, took over one of these spaces, and I think it's fine. It'll be in an eventual report. Knit It actually was a very generous donor towards the community ice rink project. So things come full circle in really cool ways. This item is VP Tool and Supply LLC. This is, again, one of those speculative projects. In this case, it's a one unit that they're taking over, about 39,000 square feet. And J.R. Ventainen is with us this evening, and I won't spill it, but we're really happy for J.R. to be here. This is a dedicated guy being here tonight. So J.R., why don't you talk to us about your company and this investment in the city? We
Yeah.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much. I I think Keith was referring to, I'm now a dad. My wife and I had our firstborn Monday morning, and so I just came-
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're
just-
here and awake.
Yes. Basically, we got discharged. Little Sophie is our little girl. So
Oh, awesome.
she had to spend the night in the NICU, so we had 2 nights of really no sleep. But we got discharged. Everything's looking really, really good. We got discharged at like 1 o'clock today. Shot home, took a nap, showered, came here.
Congratulations, and we'll give you a little extra grace because of that.
Oh, all right. Appreciate it. So, yeah, VP Tool and Supply, that's a brand new company. It's just me. I've been in this world for a long time. We manufacture and resharpen carbide cutting tools for the tool and die trade, mold, production machining, all of that. And I have a couple tools that I'll pass around kind of as an example. And so the tool with the more maroon cap on the end, that is a 100% special tool for a specific customer. So I believe that tool it reams out a hole for a snap-on toolbox for a company that's local in Benton Harbor. And then the other one would be a 1/2-inch bore flute end mill that is very generic. Hundreds of companies make those. That's not necessarily my focus at VP Tool and Supply, but that would be an example of a tool that somebody else would manufacture. I would recondition to a usable state after it's been used. My focus is the resharpening of a tool that's kind of generic and making special tools for customers that could eliminate other tool changes or parts of their process to help streamline their parts in their process. So, yeah, I've been in that industry for almost 10 years now, and this year was the year that I decided to go out on my own. I have a day job, so this is kind of after 5 till 11 and weekends. So, but those tools, what my CNC machine does is, if it's a brand new tool like the one in the darker maroon cap, that's a solid carbide rod that goes into a collet in my CNC machine, and diamond cutting wheels cut in the flutes within microns. I mean, very, very, very accurate. And then after the flutes are cut in and there's a cutting edge, then another company, a local Michigan company called Perform Coat, takes that carbide tool and puts whatever variation I tell them to of a coating that adheres to that tool that helps it last a lot longer. So that's kind of the process of my company, what it does. I plan to have a full-time employee by the end of the year. I just got to make the cash flow work. And then the goal would be to have 3 employees in the 5-year period, 10 in 10 years. I'd like to continue to add 1 machine every year until I can't anymore. But plan to grow here out of my little suite off 72 West 64th Street. I have enough room to be in there for probably 10 years. I can squeeze 10 machines in there. So the salary that I plan to pay my employee is $60,000. He'll be a machine operator and a programmer with a bonus program of 2% of net income. So he's full gain share program. Full benefits once I figure out how to sign up for all that stuff. But, yep, just brand new to all of it. And yeah, thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah. Any questions for the applicant?
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Hoekstra.
I have a question and a comment. And you kind of answered the question. I was reading over this and I'm wondering, I wonder if this guy is the one employee. And apparently you are.
Yes, just me for now.
Well, that on top of your other most recent life events, I bet you could use a vacation.
You know, I love, it feels like a vacation at my business, really. I love it. I love doing that. I love being, with my wife and kid. And my real passion, I'm also a captain, so I like to run fishing charters for customers or really whoever else. But
In your free time.
yeah, in my free time, my passion is fishing. That is what I do in my spare time. But for now, it's kiddo and tools.
Well, JR, my comment was, as I was reading through these abatement applications, I was thinking that, we get quite a few of them, and a lot of them are on grander scale, like LG Chem, the one we just talked about here.
Sure.
But it struck me that as cool as those are and as impactful as they are, it's companies like yours that are just as important to this community as the big guys, right? I mean, how many garages did great things start in?
Yep.
And
Yep.
not only is it good to help you fulfill your dream, but eventually it's going to have an impact on this community. So I just wanted you to know that your efforts are just as important to us and to this community as anybody else. So
Appreciate that
I
a lot.
really wish you well. And
Thank
please get some sleep if you can.
I will. I will.
And any other questions or comments? Mr. Byrd?
So I have how long is the process to cut these or to sharpen?
Sure.
Or each one?
So it depends. I can grind a tool that's down to 30 thousandths of an inch diameter all the way up to 1.25 inches currently, which I can go bigger. So the small tools, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. The really big tools can take hours. That one that's in your hand that you're raising up, that's about a 10-minute cycle time to make. Closer
Mr.
to
Byrd,
7.
a big brother would like you to have your microphone on.
Thank you.
I can hear you. And to re-sharpen it, so I don't have to take so much material out of the flutes, so it's closer to 6-7 minutes. But there's hundreds and hundreds of variations that cause more or less cycle time. Again, with the other tool, the special one, that one might be a little bit longer. It's got a very high tolerance, so you got to run things slow and make sure everything's all. There's a lot of setup time incorporated, but the actual cycle time, probably 10-12 minutes, maybe a touch longer.
So for marketing purposes, who are your customers? Are they like tool and die shops?
Yes.
Or
Metal
stamping?
The main focus, yes, tool die, stamping, which Holland has a lot of the industry, and it doesn't have a local source for what I'm providing.
Yeah,
there are places in Grand Rapids and Muskegon, and one just started in Benton Harbor, but Holland doesn't have one. The main focus would be a production house, so they have a raw blank, and it shoots out the same part over and over and over again. But tool and die, anything that cuts metal with a CNC machine, that's my customer.
Cool. Well, hopefully you grow faster than you anticipate.
Yeah, just gotta make the money work. That's gotta
I'm sure it will.
crawl, then walk, then run.
Mr. Freeman?
Right, just like your kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just wanted to kind of tap onto Councilman Hoekstra's comments. We just wish you wild success.
Thank you.
And just to magnify that completely. Way to go.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Corbin?
If you can indulge us, or at least me, and maybe the listening public, can you tell some of the young people that are listening today or tonight what maybe your experiences were, your education in getting
Sure.
to the point where you're at today that might also inspire some other young person to do the same?
Sure. So I went to Grand Rapids Christian High School, then graduated from Grand Valley State with a finance degree, but I was one class away from an accounting degree, a management degree. I kind of took it all in as much as I could. But I'd always been around. My dad and grandfather were in this industry as well, so I was always around these tools. Right out of college, went to work for a place that made these tools, and I worked there full time for 4 years. Did all of the all of what I needed to know with a customer base. Did a lot in sales, and it came to a point where I felt that I could do it myself. So it wasn't necessarily my goal to go out and start something. It was more of the circumstances that happened that led me to believe that I could do it on my own. And yeah, a lot of friends and a lot of family that helped. That's it. All about the help.
Any other questions or comments? Ms. Coronado?
So are these two examples, are the pieces bigger? Do they come bigger or?
Oh yeah, there's pieces that are, this long, 1.25 inch diameter.
Okay.
That is the most common. 1/2 inch is definitely the most common. But they range in thousands of sizes and shapes, and yeah.
Well, thank you for your tenacity and, following your dream and just, it shows that your passion and when you do something, you do it with all your heart.
Yeah.
But just thank you and for your inspiration. I think you said Knit It was another one person where we were able to help with the 198. So grateful that we can help you complete your dream. So
Awesome. Every bit helps.
congratulations on your little one, Sophia.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from council members? I just have I've got a couple. I want to echo what the council has said. I am really, really impressed. And with the previous applications as well, this is what we're here for. Frankly, in my mind, if we're not approving a PI 198 for a small business person like you who wants to make an impact in the community, wants to raise a family, and is doing this as a second job on top of, and fishing charters, and I got a new baby. This is exactly what it's here for. I love being part of this organization and a part of this group, because we all have that same heart and are rooting for you like crazy and are practically jumping out of our seats to go, how can we help you be successful? And I don't think every governmental entity is as interested in doing that as this group is, and we definitely are, and we want to see you be a big success. I want to see more than 10 there. I want to see you coming back in another few years going, you know what? I outgrew my space, and we've got 3 kids now, and I need to make sure that this company continues to grow and helps Holland thrive, help your family thrive, help those employees thrive. But really, you're helping. You found a niche, and I'm sure there are a lot of companies, a lot of tool and die companies, a lot of stamping companies that are going, thank goodness there is somebody here now that I can use locally. And we love the idea of that locally.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir.
Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Do we have a motion?
Oh, do we don't have a motion? Oh, we don't know. You know what? Is anybody interested in making a motion?
Move to approve the VP tool supply tax abatement request.
Move by Vreeman. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Coronado. Any discussion? No? The only comment I'm going to make is, if you couldn't tell by my questions and comments to the applicant, you have no idea, you're not paying attention to how I'm going to vote on this thing. So Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Corbin?
Yes.
Coronado?
Yes.
Arnsworth?
Yes.
Hoekstra?
Yes.
Bird?
Yes.
Vreeman?
Yes?
Peters? Mayor Box?
Absolutely yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you
Congratulations. Go get some sleep. Next item on the agenda, item number 9, written petitions and communications. In addition to providing the public the opportunity to speak to us directly at council meetings in our public comment period, we do also have an email where you can send us email messages, and those will come to all of the city council members. The email address is publiccomment@cityofholland.com, publiccomment@cityofholland.com. We collect those in between our regular meetings, and if we have any, we accept them into the record. We don't read them out loud, but accept them as part of the record here. And we do not have any this evening, but I wanted to make sure the public knew that they had that opportunity. Next item on the agenda, item number 12, reports from boards, city offices, and commissions. Item 12B1, the city master plan, recommendation to approve a draft master plan for distribution and comment. Mr. Van Beek.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The master plan, it's an important document for the city. For those of you that have been around, we had, it seems like like, didn't we just talk about this and approve it? And didn't we just do a unified development ordinance? But we are in a rhythm where we regularly review these foundational documents. Staff worked on it. The Planning Commission is recommending this to you on a 9-0 vote. I wasn't sure exactly if Director Vanderplug or Senior Planner Peterson was going to present, but it looks like you get Steve tonight. He's going to talk to you not only about the plan, but more importantly about the process and the distribution where this is out for distribution and comment from the public. So, Steve, thanks for all of your work on this up until this point, and good, you've got the clicker so you can do the presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like an underachiever now up here after that.
We all do.
Tough act to follow.
Lack of energy.
Yeah, so thank you, Keith. Yeah, so this is the master plan refresh, as we've been calling it. So I know you guys are very familiar with all of the work that you put in with Udo, and really what the process here, what the goal was, really, is to have the master plan sort of catch back up to all of the work that took place in Udo. So what you're looking at here is just sort of a little bit of our timeline. Obviously, we're at the July time where we're asking you to, you're not being asked to approve the master plan at this point. We're just asking you to send it out for distribution and comment so we can start to get comments from the public. Obviously, there's been a lot of public input already. You see there on the time frame, we had some community open house meetings. We had some special meetings at the Planning Commission. We had some extra study sessions. We had a separate focus group a couple of focus group meetings for Washington Square. So there's been a bit of input already, which is in addition to the survey that went out. So if you took the survey, you were one of the 455 people that we got responses from. Just for reference, the non-motorized plan that we recently adopted, although that included some other input as well, but the survey for that, we had a little over 100 responses. Obviously, we did quite well with the master plan survey. We did offer it in Spanish, and I wanted to highlight a couple of the efforts that Esther made here at the office about trying to get it out there and get some other groups that maybe don't normally participate. So there was an effort there as well. Although we only had one person take the survey in Spanish, we like to, at least I like to think that getting that notice out there to some of those other groups was effective as well. So the master plan itself, I've just been describing it as on time and on budget. Those items there that are bullet pointed on the bottom of the screen are really the things that we asked for in the RFP process. So all of those are in this document, all of these updates, with the addition of the Neighborhood Improvement Committee blueprint. That was something we kind of added as we were going through this process. So there's some comments in the updated plan about that, and then it would simply be added as in an appendix. We also went out and met with our neighbors, the planning commissions of the 4 surrounding townships as well. You can kind of see their comments that we got as part of that process. So again, the point is just that we had gotten a lot of good feedback to develop this plan as it's presented to you tonight. So what you'll see when you look at the master plan, it looks very familiar because really we just are taking the existing plan and we are just providing some updates where needed, where necessary. So the format looks the exact same. You'll just see these notations of items. I just kind of use this page as an example where we have that little icon to tell you that there's been an update here as part of the refresh from 2023. And you can see it kind of highlighting there, the page that had that the blueprint on there. So again, this is what it looks like right now. These are all the chapters in the plan. At the end, you'll notice that we do have a historic preservation. That is a new chapter that we included. So again, the goals and the action items, this is what it looks like today. You see kind of these highlights So again, that's what the plan looks like. Obviously, these new items are the things that we heard through this update process. So those are just kind of plugged into each of those chapters and each of those goals and action items. I know we've had a couple of the joint meetings where we had that long spreadsheet that I like to use that shows you all 100 action items. So it's going to be a little bit, longer now. So I apologize for that. This is, I guess I thought a really effective page. Implementation matrix maybe would be a better title here. So it kind of shows you the 2017 action item along with maybe the progress that was made, some input that we received that may touch on that topic from the 23 public input, the surveys, all of that, and then maybe a new or amended action item as a result. So I just thought this was an effective way that you could kind of see maybe some progress that we were making through this process. Again, just highlighting the historic preservation, the goals, and the action item, just because this is a new section. Kind of took the time again to ask a bunch of questions in the survey, really hoping that we can have this as part of maybe a benchmarking process going forward. I would describe the historic preservation chapter as maybe an educational opportunity for us moving forward. So of course, we made some updates to the future land use map. There's a few maps in there. This one I just highlighted just because it shows when you look close, you can sort of see the contrast of the 2017 plan with the 2023 update. Again, a large part, this is just catching up the land use plan with all of the changes that we made with Udo. So, and again, this page I thought was nice because you can kind of see some of the changes when you look close, especially with having the legend down there at the bottom of the 2017. So some things, maybe we changed the name of a particular district. Again, this is the master plan map, not the zoning map. But we may have changed the name, highlighting that area kind of on Waverly there. Waverly is 16th to 24th Street. We came up with a new category of, I think it's called mixed-use village now, because that was really a combination of the zoning districts of the RMU and the CMU district. So again, you can kind of just see some of those changes, a lot of refinement. Planning Commission spent a bit of time at one of the study sessions just sort of, going through the minutia of just the map. And then, of course, those categories were updated as well if needed. So I think this page is the one that highlights really changing that apartment residential category to high-density residential. Hopefully that's a little bit more accurate, that doesn't have to be an apartment to be in that high-density category. So again, those are just some of the nuanced changes of this refresh that we were trying to accomplish. I think that box over there on the right-hand side is the one that explains that we actually took out that marketplace commercial, which was that area kind of along Waverly that I was describing before, that we came up with this new name. The zoning plan. I think this will be an effective tool for Planning Commission and City Council as we look at rezoning. So I know I'm just highlighting this one page, so it would really include all of the different future land use categories. And then you can see there's sort of a corresponding, with the zoning district. So there may be cases where you had and again, maybe going back to that example that I just used along Waverly, that mixed-use village, where it kind of has two zoning districts that may be applicable. So this zoning plan kind of describes that and maybe provides a little bit of a menu almost. So as we're looking at those things, to be able to pick the right one that's appropriate for that future land use category, depending on where it may be, because so many of them kind of cross different zoning districts. So this was really a menu that we came up with to kind of help with that decision-making process in the future. The plan also talks about things that we're going to want to look at and keep an eye on. We called it this Udo evaluation. So different chapters we want to be able to kind of measure maybe how different changes are occurring? Are some of the things that we came up with through the UDO process, were they effective? Do we need to make tweaks to the ordinance, UDO 9? So different things that we're going to want to keep an eye on as we move forward. So it kind of lists out already identifying some of these areas that we're going to want to keep track of. And maybe along that same lines is this future study area idea. So again, taking the time through some of the input that we received already to kind of start to identify different areas that we might want to pay close attention to, whether it be a corridor area or just some other topics that we're going to want to keep track of. I think one of the conversations we had at one of the Planning Commission study sessions was about the industrial zoning district, where we do allow for some residential use. It has some certain restrictions. Should that be expanded? Would that be limited? You know, so that was another one of those topic areas that you know, we would want to keep an eye on as well. Part of the plan included, I guess, what I would describe as a little sub-area plan, the Washington Square vision. Really, we were able to do this as a result of getting the Redevelopment Ready Community Grant as part of the master plan. So we got $30,000 from the state to help with our update, which really allowed us to kind of sink our teeth into this Washington Square. So I'm just giving you one page of this vision plan, kind of hopefully describing what, or visually showing what might be possible in the Washington Square area. There's a lot of other visuals in the plan itself. Maybe highlighting, maybe the bigger item here was really trying to activate the possibility of activating the alleys that are in the Washington Square. There was a lot of discussion about that. So you can see that kind of highlighted in some of the other drawings as well. So a little bit similar to what we did with South Shore Village with the vision plan, but it is included right in the master plan refresh. Then I think this is the last slide. Again, maybe just making a plug about the RRC program. I mentioned we got some of the funding for this update as a part of that. And as you can imagine, you know, there's a couple things that they want to make sure that we're including in the plan. And so this is kind of the piece of the plan that kind of addresses some of the things that they want to keep an eye on as well. So that is a really high overview of this. And again, all we're asking for is your approval to send this out so we can start to get public feedback. There'll be about a 9-week lag in between. The state law requires that. And then we would be back in front of the Planning Commission, hopefully in the October timeframe, and then here as well, asking for the actual adoption of the new plan.
Or any recommendation.
Yeah.
Or comments that were made.
Yeah.
And hopefully include comments that have been received, yes.
Any questions for staff? Mr. Vreeman?
More of just a comment. I just want to stop and say thanks for your work. I know sometimes we harass you, like when you're here on Udo, and like one more time. But just, I know it's a lot of minutia, but it's a lot of high thinking, all of it, but it all makes sense and it helps the public know what's going on in us. So thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, you're welcome.
I do, may I?
Yeah, go ahead, Ms.
I
Ashworth.
appreciate it's in plain English, what we do to get there, what we plan. You know, it's not in planning ease. You know, it's very understandable, and I like the way it's, having been involved either peripherally or directly with some master plans. I like now how it reminds me of Lynn and her financial stuff. It's their pictures, but it's all integrated, and it integrates everything, whether it's transportation, social issues, the housing, commercial, and it's all, and regionally. You're talking with other, entities, municipalities. So I think that's well done. And what else? The historic preservation and the progress matrix are nice additions. It just rounds it out. And I think you'll get comments because people look at what they, their own personal things. So that's good because you can't see everything. But overall, I'm very impressed. And who does the graphics? Is it in-house or?
Yeah, so we hired McKenna and
Oh, okay.
Associates, Chris
Okay.
Corey and his group to do this. And I know they did have some sub-consulting from Hari and Nick with this project as well. But really, all of the graphics, all of that stuff is from McKenna.
Okay.
And I think
It's
to your
well done.
point was one of the reasons why we wanted to follow the format of the existing plan. So hopefully it wouldn't be confusing to, well, what is this? So to try
Yeah.
to make it easier.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Corbin?
My turn, now I'm gonna harass you, so. So I appreciate the fact that townships were, it was discussed with townships, and I think you've done that in the past. I'm not suggesting you haven't. I just appreciate you're continuing to do that. Can you somehow, or characterize some of those meetings a little bit, or, summarize some of the discussions that happened in those meetings and some of the desires or needs or thoughts about how the growth of the city is occurring and how that impacts them? Can you characterize any of those meetings for us?
Well, I would say that, when we met with them, we were really asking them, hey, do you have any topics or any issues that you would want the city to be aware of as we move forward in this process? So I guess that was probably how we started this conversation. I tried to highlight the input that we did receive in the little graphic that you have there. It was interesting. I thought a couple of the common threads were, one was probably in regards to the fiber project that we've got going. And then I think there was a common theme about creating some non-motorized connections between all of us. So those certainly seem to be the items as the themes that I kind of heard. Obviously, there's a few others, kind of individually. I would also describe it as, and of course, being the new person, I found it to be very positive relationship. That's probably no surprise to you guys, but I found that very refreshing as well. So I don't know if that helps answer your question, but it was a nice process to go through.
Any other questions, comments for staff? I just want to, again, thank staff, and also planning commission members, because they did put in extra time, did a bunch of extra meetings to go through this in a whole lot more detail. And Nikki, as you said, it's really user-friendly, which I really like. It's a very accessible, very usable document, not only for us and for planning staff and planning commission, but for members of the public. To take a look at what our plans are for the future. And this does become kind of a roadmap for us when we're looking at things like rezoning. We look at that future land use map and goes, does this fit with what we were thinking was going to happen with this area? And it's a really important tool for us moving forward. So thank you. What is the pleasure of council in regard to the approval of the draft master plan for distribution and comment?
Move to approve draft master plan for distribution.
Moved by Vreeman. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Byrd. Any discussion? Seeing none. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Coronado?
Yes.
Arnshorst?
Yes.
Hoekstra?
Yes.
Byrd?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Corbin?
Yes.
Mayor Box?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, 12E 6.1, gifts. Kathy, would you please review the gifts for us?
The city manager's office is pleased to report the following gift. Public Safety Services, Police Division, Catherine Hobbs, $200. It is recommended that these donations be accepted with appreciation, credited to the appropriate account, and an expression of gratitude be forwarded to said donors.
Thank you. What is the pleasure of council in regard to the gifts?
Move to approve said gifts with a token of our appreciation.
Moved by Coronado. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Arnshorst. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item, item 13, communications from the city manager. Mr. Van Beek.
Yes, thank you. I will make you all happy today and be extremely brief. One, get out, enjoy events going on in the city. I was able to lead the pledge at the American Legion Concert Band. I was at La Fiesta I was at Street Performer Series. We got a pretty cool place. A lot of people enjoying our community. I always care the most, quite frankly, about our local people that enjoy their community, but it's nice to share it with visitors also, as we heard tonight from one of the gentlemen. The other thing is just appreciation to a lot of our groups, but I'm going to call out Brian White and his team. A lot of road projects going on right now in coordination with the Holland Board of Public Works, but they are a pain when they happen, but they are continuing and going well. So 6th Street in particular, just really fun to see that progress proceed. And unless there's any questions, that's all I have for tonight.
Mr. Freeman.
Just a question on follow-up. Who's responsible for the road project of Chicago Drive and 8th Street redo, that interchange?
Yeah, so actually, as a lot of people here know, that actually is just outside of the city jurisdiction. So while it's coordinated with us and we're aware of it, that is an Ottawa County Road Commission project right on the edge of town, is my understanding.
I'm excited for it to be done, and it's happening quickly, so I'm more excited about that. That's my trail home from work, so it's great.
Okay. Any other questions for City Manager? Great, thanks, Keith. Next item on the agenda is mayoral appointments, communications from the mayor, and I do have 2 reappointments this evening. I am asking council to approve the reappointment of Dwayne Baker to the Compensation Commission with a term expiring June 30, 2029, and Justin Lambers to the Neighborhood Improvement Committee with a term expiring June 30, 2026. And I would be looking for a motion in that regard.
Move to approve the presentations of appointments.
Yeah, close enough, Mr. Freeman. Thank
Right,
you.
yeah. Thank you.
There's a motion by Freeman. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Coronado. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. And that is all I have this evening because it's a beautiful night out there tonight. Next item, appointments, motions, communications from council members. Mr. Corbin, it's my understanding you have something.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. It's recommended the City Council accept the appointment of Officer Nicole Hamburg to the Teen Court Advisory Board as a designated Holland Department of Public Safety standing staff member.
What is the pleasure of council in regard to that recommendation?
Move to approve.
Moved by Coronado. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Airsource. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any other appointments, motions, communications from council members?
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Hoekstra.
I just wanted to take a moment to pay a bit of homage to a very distinguished citizen, Dr. Herb Weller, who passed away on June 29, succumbing to injuries as a result of an accident. Herb was a resident of this community for many, many years. He served for 13 years on the Holland's International Relations Commission. He was very much an advocate for issues of justice. He was a quiet fellow, but very bold when it came to standing for those who had little to no voice. I understand he was an excellent fly fisherman and taught a number of people how to do that, and also was a pilot. Had his private pilot's license and enjoyed that for a long time. Anyway, his loss will be felt by this community for a long time, and our sympathies to Ann and the rest of his family on his passing. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Dave. Any other communications, appointments from council members? Mr. Corbin.
Just one thing. I attempted to call several times the city, and the phone lines on the incoming line are down. So I don't know if you want to explain it to if it's back up or if it's going to be down for a moment, and what the public should do. If you could.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I actually forgot I was going to mention that. Yeah, so we are dealing with a vendor right now and getting that up. I got an update late today that we're getting progress with our vendor, so we believe we're shooting for it'll be up tomorrow morning. It's great because we find that people adjust quickly and they are able to find us in a variety of different ways. But if you haven't been able to find us via phone, that's why our phones have been down here for a little bit, but they should be up tomorrow. So website, actually emails, come in person. We've been doing Zoom with some people, so a variety of different ways, and we can always catch up with people really quickly too. Hopefully we're up and operational tomorrow morning.
Anything else from council members? With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Vreeman. Is there support? Support, I believe that was by Mr. Peters. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side. We are adjourned. Thank you all.